that I would like to share in this video today is that sometimes what if the answers that we have been asking for, and what if the things that we have been praying about and asking the universe, like, hey, please, I'd like to experience more of these, and I would like to have a relationship that is more real and honest, and like, how can I be a better communicator with the people around me? How can I feel more love throughout my day? And how can I trust more? How can I trust myself more? How can I trust the people around me more, right? And we have all these things that we want to experience, right? But if we are so attached to how this should happen, or like, and we are only focused like, oh, see, I'm not experiencing that. I am not experiencing a relationship where I can fully feel heard and seen by. But the question is like, am I taking what is being offered to me to start to have more of that kind of relationship with myself or with other people? So what I learned yesterday, the lesson that I learned yesterday, was that sometimes what I'm asking for is right in front of me, and it's up to me to recognize that. And because what if the answer that I'm searching for, and what if the relationships that I search for is on the things that makes no sense, and I have to take that road and try that. And then what if that turns out to be what I was asking and praying for? And what if the lesson that I needed to learn to become and to trust myself more was in that road of doing the thing that makes no sense to me? And the lesson that I learned today is that sometimes I'm really afraid to just do the things that makes no sense, right? Because the things that make no sense is something that I'm not expecting, right? What if we redefine the word things that make no sense with is just the unknown? And what if it's easier for me to do things that are unknown to me? And I trust that when I do things that are I never remember this word which is things that don't make sense to me sometimes at that moment, are the only things that, and I can trust that, oh, every time that I seem like doing something that doesn't make sense is actually me stepping into the unknown. And what happens into the unknown I have no control of. But what if when I step into the unknown, it's something, the thing that can happen is something amazing, right? So that was a beautiful lesson that I learned yesterday, just to trust myself and give myself permission to do things that seem like they're making no sense at all, and let those judgments of myself, and let those judgments and let those frustration with myself and frustration with the universe, like, why am I doing this? And stop questioning and saying that, why complaining about, even like complaining about, like, I ask you for this, and now I'm doing this thing that makes no sense. And what if the universe is just like showing, and is just telling you, like, hey, I'm providing you the opportunity to do the thing that you have been asking me for, and for you to do that, you have to do this thing that makes no sense, because that's what is gonna take you to learn what you need to learn. And like, when I'm judging myself and thinking that, oh, I'm doing this thing that makes no sense, And why am I doing that? And then sometimes I know, because I've done this so many times, like it seems like I'm doing something that makes no sense, and then I just like, I'm gonna stop doing that because that's not gonna take me anywhere, right? And when I really, and yesterday was a proof to that, because every time that I was called to do something, I was like kind of like doubting, to be honest. I was like, that makes no sense. Why am I gonna do that? But okay, I'm gonna do this. And then I ended up doing, right? So I ended up doing that thing that made no sense. And then to learn that uh, and to really feel supported, because at the end I felt supported, and I felt like I was being led somewhere, and I was not doing things just alone, right? And it all had a purpose, which was to teach me what I'm sharing with you right now, that sometimes, what if we just trust that the things that we sometimes perceive as things that we don't want to do, or we don't want to keep going at it because we don't recognize it's unfamiliar? And what if the thing that we crave, and the thing that we are asking for, and what if the answers for our questions, and for our prayers, and are in the things that make no sense, because we are so fixated in receiving and getting that thing that we want exactly the way that we have envisioned and the way that we're expecting, and we are not paying attention to all the other things that are leading us to where we want to be, or right, and to receive what we want to receive. But because we are just afraid of actually doing the thing that is unknown, and sometimes the things that are unknown, it might be the new thing that you are praying for. Because if, for example, if you are not used to trust yourself, right, and then you have to do something that makes no sense, it's a little scary, right? Like, oh, I never do that, that's scary. How am I gonna trust that I can do this? And oh, okay, go. And what if in reality, when we when we oh, what's happening? One second. When in reality, all we need to do was to actually build that trust with ourselves, is, but like, for us to start to practice that, we have to take that not very common thing that we do, because that's something, because we want to experience this new thing, right? We want to build that trust with ourselves. But to get there and to start to build and practice that trust with ourselves, we have to actually do things that are different. We have to do new things, because if we are not trusting ourselves in the present moment, it means that the things that we have been doing all this time is not working anymore. So we have to step into doing something differently. And I know that sometimes that thing that is different might be a little too scary. So how can we trust that by doing that thing is gonna actually teach us, right? So what I learned yesterday was that I have to be more aware of my present moment, and recognize how is the universe teaching me things that I've been praying for, and I've been asking to learn those things, right? And I have to trust that sometimes things are not gonna make sense at the beginning, and that's okay. And I have to be okay with doing things that makes no sense, because in doing that is actually a way for me to practice and learn and gain and build confidence and trust in myself, that I can keep going at things, right? So I oh my goodness, what is happening with my voice right now? I'm just gonna tap a little bit. What is it? Is it something that I'm not saying? Is it something that I need to say? Is it something that I shouldn't have said and I'm saying anyways? Yeah, so sometimes things that are not expected, like this thing right now, I was not expecting this. This thing is, I was not expecting to be doing that in front of the camera and have to work through this, this, this resistance and this feeling and this thing that just came up, right? And I have no control over those things. And I'm just trusting that that happened for a reason, and I'm willing to let it go of wanting to do things on my specific way and do that thing that seems, and I want to invite you to do the things that, keep going at the things that seem like doesn't make sense at all. When you notice that you are doing something that is not very usual to you, or is not it's something that doesn't make sense and you don't understand why you are doing this thing that doesn't make sense. And what if you just keep doing that and see where it's gonna lead you, and see what is this thing teaching you, because everything has something always to teach you. And I like to go about my days and learn things with everything that happens to me on that day. And sometimes I'm surprised at, like, oh, that day the theme of my day was like trust. I was like I was having experiences throughout my day where I had to trust myself, or I had to trust other people. And I want to invite I want to invite you to, well, I don't want to tell you what you have to pay attention to in your life, right? I want you to watch this video, and I hope you made it to the end. And if you gain anything, and if you took anything from this video and from all the things that I share, is there anything that you are willing to do differently in your life? Yeah, that's all. I just want to, maybe if you want to send me a message or drop a comment and say, like, what is one thing that from watching this video, what is one thing that you took away from it, and what is one thing that you are willing and committing to yourself to start doing more. Or yeah, that's all that that's my intention for recording this video today, and that's my intention for sharing it. Is I just want you to look into your own life and see where are the answers, and recognize, what if the things that you have been asking for, what if the answers that you have been praying for are in front of you, but since they're not like, you're receiving them in a way that you were not expecting. And I just want you to pay attention. That's all. I just want you to recognize and pay attention, like, oh, what if the thing that I'm praying is actually in front of me, and all this time I'm not doing because that's makes no sense. And what if you can trust that thing that makes no sense at this moment, and see where it leads you, and see where it takes you. And yeah, so that's my video for today. I'm so happy that I got to experience and learn this yesterday, and I'm so blessed and grateful to have had the courage and taking this step and recorded this and share this with you. And I hope that you really take something away from this video. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day, and that you may receive the questions and the answers and the things that you have been asking for all this time. That's my intention, and I really hope, and that's my hope, really. So yeah, Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you another day.